The Jewish New Year. And the Jewish New Year starts, it's actually called the Day of Trumpets. It is the blowing of the trumpets day. That's another name for Rosh Hashanah in Hebrew, Yom Teruah. And Rosh Hashanah is a wake-up call. Now you may not think that you need to wake up, but once the Lord blows into your heart, you will see that you've been asleep. Because we're not always fully awake to the kingdom and to God Himself in our life. It is a wake-up call, a sound of the beginning of the days of awe. We have awe-filled or awful days, 10 of them, that lead us into the Day of Atonement and afterwards to the Feast of Tabernacles. And in the mind and heart of God, there's actually an incredibly logical, spiritually logical sequence. He wakes us up by the Spirit and brings us to the cross and to the atonement, to do business with God and to find His Son. And it is only after that that we can enter into true fellowship with Him. And as believers, believe it or not, we need to be awakened often, daily, by God. Now, many times when speakers from Israel go anywhere, people want them to speak about Israel. And it's okay, but there is the word of the Lord that comes out of Zion. We want it to be the full counsel of God. And I think we need that. And I believe that God gave me this message, and I hope you'll think so afterwards as well. Anyway, I'd like to read actually from Luke 12:40. And actually the name of this message can be, "In such an hour as you think not. Be ye therefore ready also. For the Son of Man comes in an hour when you think not." You can't, that means that not that you're not thinking, but that you're thinking that it can't be. You can't imagine or suppose that God would come at such a time like this minute. You would presume that it's not good for God to come. You can tell Him when He should, actually. Or all His advisors. Or possibly even your theology will not allow for God to come, and you think it's impossible. But God, I have found, and I think you would find in your life as well as in world affairs, that God is not limited by our thinking or expectations. No one will put God in a box, ever, of any kind. Now I want to read the rest of this portion of Scripture, and I'll start from verse 34 of chapter 12 of Luke. And I purposely started with that because between this verse and the next, usually there is a gap in the Bible and some kind of something, as if God went to a different subject, but it's not true. Verse 34 of chapter 12, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And he continues, "Let your loins be girt about, and your lights burning, and you yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when He will return from the wedding, that when He comes and knocks, they may open unto Him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when He comes, shall find watching. Verily I say to you, that He shall gird Himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. And if He shall come in the second watch, Or come in the third watch and find them so. Blessed are those servants. And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, and he would have watched, and not have suffered his house to be broken through. You be therefore ready also, for the Son of Man comes in an hour which you think not. It's interesting to me that Yeshua uses this phrase, let your loins be girded about. And that is exactly, in the Hebrew Bible, the words that were used to prepare Israel to leave Egypt that night. In Exodus 12, verse 11, he says, eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. It's awesome to me, and I